Well, for expert insight into Thailand's election and economy, let's bring in Kevin Cottrell. He's the head of research for Bauer Group Asia. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So let's start with these delays and the final results of this first election in 5 years. And already you have both parties claiming the right to form a coalition. What are your thoughts on how this process is playing out?
Right. Although the Thai public, as we can see, is very upset with the way that the Election Commission is handling releasing the election results right now, it's not unexpected. The 2017 Constitution that was enacted by the junta government stipulates that the formal official election results be announced within 60 days of the election. Therefore, we can see that they're not planning on releasing the final dates until May, either way. So in this way, it gives the government and the Election Commission time to ensure that there is not political unrest and the formation of a government taking place during the time of the important King's coronation ceremonies, which will be starting at the end of this month and really taking place from March 4th till May 4th until May 6th.
So for people who aren't aware, what's really at stake in this election in terms of the economic direction that the country may go in?
In terms of the economic direction, both coalitions, both sides of the fence tend to have similar economic policies. We tend to see promotion of the welfare scheme and encouragement of foreign investment, which Thailand's economy is so heavily reliant on.
Now, something else that we've seen, the military junta has made a $54 billion this Eastern Economic Corridor project, and really have made that the centerpiece in their efforts to close economic inequality. How do you think that initiative will be impacted then?
The junta government's policies, there are two aspects that it was looking at. First is getting fast cash into the economy, which, as you mentioned previously, a lot of it was focused on mega infrastructure projects, billions of dollars towards rail development throughout the country, and the increase in tourism to bring fast cash into the economy. On the long-term economic plan, the Eastern Economic Corridor, the EEC, is one of the vital strategies in this, with the desire of bringing in high-tech industry, high-tech investment from abroad, and stimulating jobs within that corridor. If we see a return of General Prayut Chan-o-cha as the next prime minister, we can definitely expect to see a continuation of this policy, which will be great for those foreign investors who have been looking at investing in that corridor for a while now.
Now let's look at what's happening in terms of this sort of political uncertainty that they're in the middle of right now. To what degree has lack of a stable democracy held back Thailand's competitiveness?
Within Thailand, political uncertainty is kind of the status quo. That said, it does hold back Thailand from reaching its economic potential. As we saw during the 90s and during the early 2000s, Thailand has the potential to have growth equal to some of the fastest growing economies in Asia, in the high single digits. But as we've seen throughout the last decade, political uncertainty does really throw the economic growth out of whack. As we look into economic growth for 2019, it may be impacted negatively slightly because of the delay in election results and the uncertainty that we're facing right now, and the likely political stalemate once government is formed. However, the government investors look at Thailand with a long-term perspective,
okay.
And they'll continue with, there might be a little bit of a wait-and-see approach with a slight dampening of investment. But I think in the long run, we can continue to see strong growth at least 3%.
And just very quickly, as we look at some of the challenges, you have government spending, business confidence, as you mentioned, investor sentiment. If you had to mention one or two key reforms that are really needed to help make some positive adjustments, what would they be?
Mm-hmm. The junta's economic economic team did implement a really forward-looking policy in 2015 with the Thailand 4.0 initiative. This policy is focused on understanding that Thailand's former competitive advantages may no longer hold up as we move forward into the future, especially with some more competitive economies like Vietnam coming as emerging markets. And so this is a great foresight from the government to be looking at skills development, improving knowledge-based sectors. And they've done a great job at implementing some reforms such as e-payments. However, one of Thailand's weaknesses has always been the implementation of these great policies that they have.
Right.
And so if they want to make this effective at developing Thailand from being a manufacturing hub into a knowledge-based industry and value-added hub, they're really going to have to make some fundamental reforms in the education system to focus more on STEM education and on improving students' critical thinking skills.
All right, thank you so much. We'll have to leave it there. Kevin Cottrell there, Head of Research for Bauer Group Asia. Thanks so much.
Thank you.